Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening from. Welcome to episode 18 of the VersaTalks audio experience. On today's episode, we have a very special guest, David Cordero, and he is actually an active VersaGym client. And we brought him on today because he has a very special story to tell. He works with our franchisee in Dallas, Texas, Jalen Hayes. And we're just super happy to have you on, man. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, David, kind of explain to the listeners, what it is that you do. You currently work for Panera, correct?
Yes, so I'm a development project manager. I manage the day in and day out of all the projects. So I deal with construction, IT, hardware installation.
Hmm.
Um, and then I also deal with numerous of other vendors, the ops team as well. So I handle the GM, the director, and all of their staff.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How long have you been with Panera?
August 23rd would be 10 years. I've been in this position, be 1 year on May 24th.
That's awesome. How do you like it there?
With Panera, I chose to work for Panera. I remember 10 years ago, I applied at 17 different locations. Each location wanted to hire me, and then I got to choose which location I wanted to work at.
That's awesome, man. That's a great story. So, David, you've been working with Jalen for how long now?
It'll be 1 year on May 24th.
That's awesome. And how has your experience been as, a client of Jalen's, as a client of VersaGym?
Can't complain. It's been tough. I mean, there are several things that Jalen has put me in that are outside of my comfort zone or thought that my body couldn't do, but then it comes out that I can.
Nice.
Um, but it's been the greatest experience, and I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's beautiful. What motivated you to kind of like start your weight loss journey, and how did you stay committed to your goals throughout the process?
The journey started about 5 years ago when my CFO told me that my purpose and my knowledge is going to be wasted when I die. If you pass away or whatever the case is, and I started diving into what that meant.
Oh, wow.
Later on, I was having doctor's appointments that made it seem as if the question was to live or to die, and I chose to live.
How did VersaGym kind of help you stay committed to those goals? And obviously, like your professional life kind of motivated you to begin that change because clearly you're a valued asset for Panera, and so for a CFO to meet you and say, hey, you are so valuable to us as an employee, as a worker, as a person, that we would really like you to focus more on your health. So, how did Jalen help you and VersaGym help you kind of stay committed day in and day out, even with everything that you have going on business wise?
He didn't let me create excuses for myself anymore. I would always view exercise as a punishment, and he said that exercise is like an achievement, like a medal, like a reward of what your body can do or is able to do. And so he definitely shifted or pivoted my mindset with that. He also made it really possible to understand the why behind every single piece of it. Every single move or every single exercise, I'm always asking, what is this target? What's the purpose of this? How is this going to affect? How long does this take? So on and so forth. But he's made it very possible in all aspects. So I travel so much for work, and
Mhm.
whether I'm in a hotel gym or at the Cowboy Fitness or at Versa Gym, it just he makes it work out for me, whatever happens.
Awesome. That's great. That's awesome. That's so key. I think that, as personal trainers, we really have to focus on helping the clients understand the why behind things. So I'm so glad to hear that Jalen has been able to help you, kind of understand like, hey, you don't hate yourself by working out. You're working out because you love yourself. You love your body, right? And being able to change that perspective is huge on anyone's journey, no matter what their goal is, right? Whether that's a personal goal, whether that's a weight loss goal, whatever it could be, right? So that's really awesome.
I think
What?
the for me is he didn't treat me or like other trainers would treat me as a transaction versus a relationship to build on.
Mm, yep.
And he listened to what I needed, where I needed it, and when I needed it versus trying to give me this paper booklet that I'm going to take
Right.
around every time and a cookie cutter type of situation.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, that's why I don't know if it surprises you, but only 1% of personal trainers actually work full time, right? And it's really comes down to, hey, do you really have a passion for helping others? Do you really want to build those relationships and that trust with your clients and actually help them? I mean, I have clients that I don't see anymore that still text me, still call me to this day. One of my first clients when I got started, nobody wanted to work with her at the gym that I was working at. And I was a new trainer, just started working there. Obviously, this is years before VersaGym. And her name was Diane Sherman. She was 63 years old, retired, and her goal was to lose 100 pounds. You know, and we did it, and it was one of the most rewarding things to this day that I've ever done. And so it's so important to build that relationship, and the fact that I haven't trained her for years, she still calls me. That's that relationship building where we'll be in each other's lives for forever. And it really is much much more than a transaction. you know Everyone in the world knows that transactions need to happen, right? Everyone needs to eat, everyone needs to live, everyone needs to pay their bills, pay their rent, pay their mortgage, of course. But really what I think it comes down to when it comes down to success and in anything you do in life is relationship building and being a good person and being there for people. So I'm really really happy to hear that. So where were you at the beginning of your weight loss journey, and how much weight did you lose throughout that time?
Like since the beginning, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was fluctuating between 595 and 618 or 615.
Mm.
That's when I started. And many people would take photos or like would look at me and they're like, David, you don't look like you're 600. And I was,
Wow.
how do I know how to say this? I would wear bodysuits or like a compression suit. I would wear three of them every single day to work or to any event that I had to go to. So it
Oh
didn't
wow.
seem as big and I could barely even breathe. So that's why I would normally not talk as much.
Gotcha. Understood. Wow, that's crazy. And so these compression suits kind of like reduced like your like waist size, is that correct?
Yeah. It took
Wow.
me
And
5 or 6X to a 4X.
wow. And so tell the listeners, what are you currently weighing right now?
Oh, we just weigh myself. Every first week of every single month, I weigh myself. Jay won't let me weigh myself any other time. Um, I think it's like 273 or 276.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That is amazing. That is so amazing. So David, you ended up losing over 300 pounds then?
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. 500 to 600 pounds. How did you feel like waking up in the morning, throughout your workday, before bed? Like, how was your sleep quality?
That's hilarious. So my sleep quality sucked. I wasn't able, like, I couldn't move that well. So in one day, I could probably have, I don't know, 6 or 7 quad shot venties.
Wow.
Um, or monsters or whatever energy drink I could get myself into.
Hmm, I see. And now, fast forward to you being 200 and something pounds. How does your body feel now? How's your sleep quality now?
Oh, amazing. I mean, I get more than 6 hours. Well, not typically I get 6 hours just because I work a lot and I'm a workaholic. But if I want, I could sleep a good 8 hours and my energy level is at a 10.
That's awesome, man. That's so great. Yeah, I think, people don't realize, you know, those things such as working out, taking care of yourself, not over consuming caffeine and not eating the processed foods, and all of those details really, really matter when it comes to just your quality of life. So for you to be able to 360 that, man, and just lose all of that body fat and kind of retake control of your health, man, is it's extremely motivational. Makes me want to go to the gym right now and just kind of get after it. Um, but that's awesome. And how has your fitness transformation, your health transformation, how has that helped you in other areas of your life, you would say?
Self confidence is driven through every single avenue of what I do.
Mhm.
Losing weight has built my self confidence even more. I've always been a pretty confident type of guy, but having lost all that weight definitely helps out. So when I'm speaking to someone, when I'm doing a presentation for work or whatever the case is, there's a whole new level of self confidence, or to be able to talk to people. Um, Losing weight is what I when going to the gym, I call there's two sectors that I call the purple and yellow sector. I don't know if you've ever been into Planet Fitness before.
Yeah.
So when I first met Jay, I was in Planet Fitness, and I was like, I'm gonna stay in the yellow section. I call it the Thunder Dweeb section, and then the purple section is like the homie section. I'm like, I'm not. But having built that confidence and having lost all this weight, I'm there, right next to, and I have no problem to be in that section. Because at that point, I didn't feel that I was enough to be there, but then now I know that I'm more enough to be in that section. I think self confidence is a core root of multiple different avenues of what happens in your life. And I think that losing weight has definitely helped me out to do that and to take myself out of my head, because sometimes I'm a huge overthinker.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's so powerful. I mean, I think that life is like 90% mental, and really probably one of the best byproducts of losing all that body fat and just instilling better habits and everything that you went through. I think that the mental fortitude that you gained throughout that time is probably, you know, the most valuable thing, right? That kind of occurred because of that transformation. So, like, even you saying, like, oh, I went to, you know, Planet Fitness and, I was in this isolated section because I was self conscious of going into this other section. Like, it's like nobody should have to feel that way, like we're all human beings. At the end of the day, one of my sayings, like, we all wipe our ass, we all sleep, we all drink caffeine, for the most part, like we all, wash our cars, vacuum, whatever. So it's like, no one's better than anyone, no matter what you look like, no matter what, you weigh, no matter what your habits are. And so, for you to be able to just, you know, gain so much confidence and mental clarity through that transformation just goes to speak, how important your health and fitness is in all aspects. So it's so amazing to be able to hear that from you. So
It's it was a very eye opening situation when you had said that everybody does the same thing. So my first time ever in that section, I think it was like at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was working out because I had just landed from a work trip, and I was like, Jay's gonna get mad if I don't work out or if I don't finish what I do. So I went to go work out, and there's this guy that looked like Hercules was his dad and Xena was his mom, and he hating on himself. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? And I come to find out that people that are fully fit and you think that they have all this confidence in themselves, they still
hmm
are hard on themselves because they're not defined in the areas that they want to be defined, or the muscle that they want to build is not building the right way. And I'm like, wow, this whole body situation is
hmm
completely different on different levels. And I was like, what am I scared of? They
hmm
think it's worse for them, and I'm thinking that they're not. I'm like, we're fine. I should be
yeah.
here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, first off, congratulations. So you went from like not working out at all and being heavier to losing all this weight, being, 300 pounds less than you were, to getting, home from a late flight, a red eye, to working out at 1 in the morning. I mean, kudos to you for making those changes. You're starting to sound a little like the Dwayne the Rock Johnson or something. And now I'm like, wow, I need to start working out more. But yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. So you met that guy at the gym, and he was like, had like a little like body dysmorphia kind of going, right? And that's always the thing, right? Like the skinny guy wants to be, big, and like the big guy wants to be skinny, and it's like just an ongoing cycle of just learn to love your body. That's really
Mm.
what it is. We're all different. That's what makes us beautiful. Learn to love your body. And it's really what it comes down to. And that's something that I preach to my clients every single day. First thing, I get to somebody's house and they're like, oh, I messed up on my diet, or, I had too many glasses of wine, or I did this, and oh, my butt doesn't look good, or, my stomach. And these are things that, clients share to their trainers in confidence, and that's what I preach, man, is listen, just love your body how it is. There's nothing wrong with having goals, but love your body how it is, because we only get one body. Enjoy your life. Happiness and fulfillment comes from within. No amount of money, no amount of abs or muscles as you experience in the gym with that really ripped guy, no amount of anything is going to fulfill you. It's our jobs to fulfill ourselves. It's our job to keep ourselves happy and joyful. So yeah, it puts it into perspective. And for me with VersaGym, like one of my biggest things is like I always wanted to build a big company, help people, and amass a good amount of wealth. And when I started VersaGym, I got a lot of clients that were wealthy, and I realized right away that just because you're wealthy doesn't mean you're happy, because a lot of the clients, not a lot, but a decent amount of the clients that I was acquiring with VersaGym, I realized just because they had a big house, nice cars, and, money to travel didn't always mean that they were happy or happier than my other client who has maybe half the wealth that they have. So that was a big eye opener for me, especially being, a young 24, 25-year-old kid, where it was like, okay, newsflash, money isn't everything. Make sure you're keeping yourself happy, find happiness from within, from the little things, spend time with your family. So that's awesome, man. Your journey is just so inspirational, motivational, and I really, really love the fact that, VersaGym was able to help you facilitate that process. And, it started with you 5 years ago, and over the last 12 months, Jalen has been able to keep you going and to help you. And that support team is so important with anything you do in life, business, fitness, health, anything, right? So what's been your experience training with the VersaGym, your workouts when you use the VersaGym rig, the VersaGym trailer with Jalen? How do you kind of like that service?
I love it. I think that the ability to be mobile, whether I'm at the office or I'm on my way home, because technically I do live about an hour and 20 minutes outside of Jalen's radius.
Hmm.
And to be able to just drive home from work or to be able to meet him at a park and be secluded, I think that that was a game changer for me. I'm a person that likes fast access, whether it be a delivery service or an e-commerce service.
Sure.
So find out that Jay was a mobile gym situation and I can meet him at a park closer to my office or closer to I don't know, to whatever wherever I was the big highlight. The fact that he
Hmm.
had multiple different things that we could do inside this little box of a trailer. I mean, he calls it the toolbox, but whatever. Um, and to be able to do so many things there was a highlight. Plus, we often choose parks that there's not a lot of people, and that was helpful for me to get outside of my head or to be more confident in myself to work out in front of other people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great, man. That's great. And, as a busy individual who travels a lot for Panera, how has the VersaGym app been for you in terms of like seeing all the workouts that Jalen wants you to do when you're away, and kind of helping you track a little bit of your nutrition and habits?
For sure. The app itself, or the functionality of the app has been grateful for me, or good for me, I should say. I'm a person that likes a checklist. I love a good checklist.
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, why don't you do? And I'm like, it's not on the list, Jay. You didn't put it on the list. And so I like that it's like a checklist, basically what I'm trying to tell you. You do the workout, you plug in how many times you did it, what the weight was, and then you move on. That you're accomplished on that of the list. So many times before, when I was trying to lose weight or trying to be better, I would have trainers and it'd be like this little booklet and you're reading how to do this maneuver. But in this app, you have a video of someone teaching you how to do this. Not that there's not other apps like that, but it's definitely much more personal.
Hmm.
Um, and then we go back into the fundamental piece of it, right? It tells you in the app what you're doing and why you're doing it. And so for me, that was the big picture of why am I doing what I'm doing and how is this going to benefit me? And that was super useful to have that on the app.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that that was able to kind of help you, throughout your journey, and that, Jalen was able to keep track of you, right? So that's the biggest thing I think right now with the personal training industry. You have all these apps, right? But what they lack is that human touch. So the fact that now your trainer, right, that trains you in Dallas can follow you around virtually, because we do have clients that end up doing virtual sessions right through like a Zoom call or right through the app through Skype. The app is connected to Stripe. The app is connected to Skype, so we can do FaceTime sessions essentially with clients if they travel. If they're on vacation, they want to keep their routine. If they're traveling for work, they can still work out via the app, whether that's a previously curated list of movements that the trainer set for you, or you actually do a call, right? A live call. So that's something that ties everything in together. Where yes, your trainer helps you when you're here. If you're on vacation or you're working for, you're traveling, your trainer can help you virtually. Can help you set up your nutrition, your macronutrients right through the VersaGym app. So that's something that we strive to do, is just encompass it all together, because people have needs, and luckily for us as personal trainers with technology, it would be a waste if we didn't help to use technology to grow our businesses and to provide more value to you guys, right? So I'm really glad that you had a good experience with the VersaGym app, and we're going to keep working on it, and pitching new ideas to the software company to kind of help us grow and move with the times, right? And provide more values to the clients. So David, man, what's next for you? You're 300 pounds lighter. You're working out at 1 in the morning. I'm getting a little intimidated just talking to you. I got to step up my fitness game over here. But what's just next for you? What's next for David?
So personally, I this is my self-discovery year. I've lost so much weight that the losing weight has not affected, but has changed my mindset
Mm-hmm.
in so many avenues. And I've told my son, I was like, this is you are the most important thing to me every single day. However, this is dad's year and dad's going to figure out some stuff for dad. And so what I did was I let go of everything basically, and I started traveling everywhere I go, staying in different places, maybe moving somewhere different. Um, in the summer, I'm going to Costa Rica for a brother's trip, and
Nice.
for the first time ever in my life, I am not going to be nervous to be in the wilderness by myself.
There you
Um,
go.
so zip lining, bungee jumping, hopefully, and if Lord willing, I will be skydiving.
There you go.
Yeah. And then for my birthday to celebrate the massive weight loss or to just celebrate life or a second chance at life. I'm planning on a trip to Thailand. And then just continuing to visit more family. In October, I'm doing the obesity or the walk for obesity,
Nice.
with either 3 miles, 5 miles, or 10 miles. You can walk, run, skip, scooter, whatever you want.
Nice.
Uh,
Where's that being held?
here in Dallas.
Nice.
Yep. And then there is an obstacle course that it's happening, I believe, either in Arizona or New Mexico, but there's the obesity obstacle course in February. Professionally, trying to become a director or an executive.
Nice.
There's a couple more years and a couple more levels of understanding before I get there. But that's pretty much what's in store in the next 6 to 8 months for David.
That's awesome, man. So happy to have you on the podcast. So happy to hear your journey, your testimony, your story. I mean, it's one that has left me touched and motivated. So I know that the listeners will probably feel the same. And, it's just been an amazing hour here with you, just talking about everything that you've been through and, you know, how now you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, even in things that aren't, your weight loss, right? Like you're skydiving, you're doing all these crazy things, you're going for executive at Panera. Like I love that, man. I love that. I love that story. And just thank you so much for your time, David. Tell the listeners where they can give you a follow so they can keep up with you on your journey, or, where they can contact you for anything business related, maybe your email or Instagram handle.
My Instagram handle is adavid2088, and then my email is just adavid2088@gmail.com.
That's awesome. David, thank you so much for your time, man. I wish you nothing but the best in 2023. Keep rocking the house, and we'd love to have you back on the podcast anytime.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, David. Thank you, man.